Sup, bitches? Hello. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me get my AirPods, actually. That'll probably sound better. Hello. Hi. Blink twice if you can hear me. Okay. All right. Let me see if this connects to my headphones. Hello. Hi, guys. And still you can hear me? Okay. Hi. Hello. So this is a really kind of freestyle Q&A. We are doing just to say hi, hang out with you guys, first of all. Also, I have my class that's starting next Tuesday that you guys got an exclusive discount here in the description. I also have my colleague who's going to be here answering questions in the comments about that specifically. Also, if you like these Q&As, we do them every month for our super secret members. There's also way fewer people in those chats, so you get your questions answered. I'm actually doing one tomorrow, so if you're not already a member, it's time to join. So really, yeah, any and all questions welcome. Could be about the class, could be about money, whatever. We have a lot of questions that people were already living, people were already leaving. So I'm going to answer a few of the older ones, and then I'm going to get to new ones. Jared is asking a question from a big fan. Thanks, Jared. Why does your channel cater more to women than to men? Everyone's allowed in the club. It's just that there are so many channels that cater, so many like personal finance outlets that cater to men and speak more directly to them. And it's like, I'm a woman, so I like talking about it from this perspective. Our staff is women, so and there's a lot of things that affect women specifically. You know, we got to have our own discourse going. But men are welcome. Come, learn, be part of it. Have you watched Inventing Anna? No, I can't even deal with that accent. No thanks. Okay. People asking what I'll do after my internet days. Your guess is as good as mine. Something not on the internet. Katie says, hey, Chelsea, how do you avoid the dreaded burnout phase that many creators encounter while creating such amazing content? Fun fact, I don't. I'm actually taking a little bit of time off next week for the old mental health because it's been a really rough start to the year. Things are going really well now, but you know, it's been a tough time for small businesses pretty much since COVID. So I definitely do suffer from that burnout. For me, it definitely manifests in a lot of like sleep issues, you know, that kind of stuff. So just making sure that we have infrastructure for myself, but also other staff to take some time away because I mean, the internet wants you to be on 24/7, sorry for cursing, and I'm a human being. So I can't do that. What affirmations? I think that they can be very helpful. Have you watched or listened to The Dropout or anything about Theranos? I read Bad Blood like the day it came out. I've watched the HBO doc. My husband and I are like in the middle of The Dropout right now. And it's really good. I was like, what is this show going to be able to provide me? I've already consumed a maximal amount of Elizabeth Holmes content. And yet here I am loving, but Amanda Seyfried is really, she's giving us what we want. Okay, let's try and find a money one. So Dominique says, cheers from Montreal. Cheers, santé. What are your thoughts on advice that you need like 80% of your actual income to retire? I actually think it's 90% is the recommended amount of your final salary. I'm debt-free, 54, single with cutie dogs, and plan on semi-retiring in 5 years. I mean, I think it's different if you're semi-retiring. Like if you are still planning to actively generate income, I think you can have a lot more flexibility there. But we actually have a video coming out in a couple weeks that is specifically all about kind of trying to re-understand these really big retirement numbers, because so many people see like, oh, you need $1 million for retirement. And they are like, I'll never have $1 million. First of all, yes, you very well might with compound interest, but also like people think of $1 million and they think of just like living on $1 million every year. No, you have to make that shit last over 20 years or whatever. So yeah, we got to recontextualize these numbers so they can be attainable. Raphael says, will you ever have Lauren, my co-founder, partner, former TFD host on TFC? Maybe. She actually just came back from maternity leave this week. So she's bopping around, getting back in the swing of things. How do you explain the benefits of student loan forgiveness to people who oppose it? Basically, I went to community college. I don't have a degree. I wouldn't benefit from student loan forgiveness. And I think it's incredibly important because it's not good for a society to have young adults who can't afford to do shit. They can't afford to buy houses. They can't afford to have kids. They can't afford to like consume stuff, which the economy needs. So even if you don't care, it's not a good thing for the economy overall. So um, you just did a bad influences YouTube video. Who are the good American financial influences other than TFD and their affiliates? Good financial influences. That's a really good question. Um, I think, once you learn the financial basics, I think following people who espouse anti-consumerism in various ways, people who live on less, people who, upcycle and thrift and DIY. I think that's a really good financial influence to have in your life because we do live in a culture that is all about buy more, buy cheaper, throw things away, get new ones. I do think once you understand finances, it's really important to rethink your consumer habits. So that's something I really recommend. But of course, all of the financial influencers we work with are great gals and guys occasionally. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions, guys. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay. What advice do you have for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel on summarizing research on a topic that I'm an expert in? First of all, join my class. It's all about that. It starts on next Tuesday. But I would say the number one thing for people who are experts in things is when you're an expert in something or you're really knowledgeable in something, you have a real tendency to forget that most of this stuff is new for other people, or they don't understand it, or they're not familiar with these concepts. So what I would say is run your ideas by someone who is not at all in your space, who knows nothing about what you're talking about, because it needs to be accessible to total newbies. And especially in terms of like the title, the thumbnail, like the subjects you're picking, it has to be interesting to people who are not already at least a little familiar with it. And that is a mistake that especially subject matter experts often make, where they're just like, they think that other people are more informed about it than they are. So run it by someone who doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay. I graduated from Columbia last year. And being a student, I was the first time I was exposed to such wild and immense wealth. Any advice on recovering from that anxiety-induced craziness? Fun fact, I live in the neighborhood that Columbia is in. So I see those rich ass students all the time. Our building now doesn't have renters, but in all the other apartments I rented in this neighborhood, like it was really disorienting to be like a 2 adult, working household living in like a $3,500 apartment, and then have like 2 rich ass 18-year-olds next to you who lived in the same exact apartment. Yeah, and I come from a town where like I was normal middle class and surrounded by really rich people who would get like BMWs for their birthdays. So it is really, really, really difficult to sort of cleanse your mind of all of the insecurities and inadequacies that gives you. But I think the best advice I can give is just try to surround yourself in your personal life with people who get it, who get you, who are on a similar budget, who don't come from immense wealth or financial privilege, just so that you can like realign your concept of normalcy, because it is not sustainable to just be constantly exposed to people way richer than you. What's your take on the Kim K controversial comments on women not wanting to work? We have a Kardashian video coming out in 2 weeks, and it talks a lot about that. I'm very excited. Okay. Okay. Why, okay. Wow. There are so many. I'm sorry. These like keep loading and I'm having to scroll back up. I apologize. Never invested besides my company's 401k. Where should I start? That's what brokerages are for. If you're totally lost on where to start, I think something like a robo advisor can be really helpful because it makes the process really, really seamless and easy to understand and pretty automated. So I would definitely recommend a low cost brokerage account. Again, most of these brokerages are pretty similar. You can compare the fees. Obviously, the more automated it is, the higher the fees generally, but that's a good place to start. Um, a lot of people saying thank you, fan, etc. Thank you guys so much. Um, okay, if my new ETF investment has raised 30% within less than a year, should I take it out before it evens out to the usual 10? Absolutely not. The biggest mistake people make with investing is trying to time the market, trying to seize on opportunities, and not understanding that using math, the most valuable thing is compound interest over time. You want to give that money room to grow. You don't want to take it out. You don't want to stop it from growing. It seems like it's much better now, but think about that same money left in at 10% for 20 years more versus that 30% for a short amount of time. It's a no-brainer. You stay with it, be consistent, don't get all skittish about the market. That's the most important thing. Raymond says, when did you realize you were more progressive than the average lib? For me, it was definitely 2016. For sure, me too. I feel like so many of us, we really 2016 was like a political meat grinder. And so many people went in. I mean, listen, I went in feeling like Hillary Clinton was like really far to the left. And now I'm like, she's like basically a Republican to me. And then other people went in being like, I'm a fiscal conservative. And they came out believing that like Hollywood and DC are just like a bunch of, child murderers, running a scam outside of a pizza restaurant. So, everyone really went on a journey in 2016, but I do feel, one thing I do feel about, the political aspect of it is that I think what I feel good about when it comes to progressive economic beliefs, especially when it comes to things like a living wage pegged to inflation and, universal health care and, free public education and, those kind of things. Most people actually, regardless of how they identify politically, actually agree with those things. So it's just kind of often about how it's presented and how it's labeled and all that stuff. How do you feel about the crazy subway shooting in Brooklyn? Not good, negatively, but also I think that what always bothers me the most about events like this is how disproportionately they are used for fear mongering and increasing police presence, which doesn't actually help prevent these sorts of things. And also, further instilling in the minds of people who don't live in major cities that major cities are these like dangerous hellholes when actually cities on average are much safer than they've ever been. And also like there are many reasons why it's good for humans to live in cities. It's not for everyone, but the fact that like people take public transport every day, it's really good for the environment. It's economical. These are good things. And I hate when things are used to really fearmonger against people and against those concepts. And it's like, Fox News is going to be fucking dining out on that for months in the wrong direction. I'm cursing so much, guys. I'm sorry. It's a long day. It's been a long year. Okay. Yeah, after I max out my 401k and Roth is the next investment stocks. By that, you mean just like a typical non-retirement brokerage account. Yeah. So, index funds, ETFs, those are super easy to set up. Again, you can use a robo advisor. You can, do what works for you. But a lot of people think that investing stops at retirement. It don't. It starts at retirement. So you got to keep going. Oh my God, shout out Internet Shaquille. Just joined as a member. Honestly, okay, we gotta get a collab going here because Internet Shaquille is one of my all-time. He's like one of my favorite Viners. Rip Vine. Sad that Vines are all gone and I can't watch my old favorite Vines. But he also has a really fantastic food channel. You guys should check it out. I love watching it. I'm a bit of a home chef myself, and I find his advice to be really good. And his videos get to the point, which so many of these. Why do I have to click on a video about like how to make cacio e pepe and it's a 25-minute video? It doesn't even take that long to make. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm really going off script here. Okay. Anyway, welcome. And yes, anyone else who wants to join and be a member, we do these Q&As every month. We're doing one tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Okay, this person has been asking this question several times, so I'm just going to go ahead and address it because I want to put out the fire here. Melanie is asking, why didn't you address Abigail Thorne's generational wealth? I interviewed Abby Philosophy Tube recently on TFC. Believe it or not, I actually don't enter every episode of TFC with like a 50-page dossier on the generational wealth of everyone I'm speaking to. I don't know who people's parents are, where they grew up. I typically try to look at the work that they're doing in the world and what they're saying and, you know, their ideas and the sort of ideologies they're putting out there. And I think Abby is a person who does tremendous good on this platform and tremendous good in terms of changing the way people think about a lot of issues. And I would just say in general, someone can be a good person with great ideas who comes from a very wealthy background, and someone can be a not great person with really shitty ideas that comes from a working class background. I think generally often it tends to trend in an unfortunate direction just because wealth can be really insulating. But in general, I think we just need to look at who people are and what they're doing with their lives. Okay. Advice for personal finance in college. The fact that you're taking an interest in it is the most important part. So many people go through college feeling like they don't need to think about money until they've graduated college. It doesn't matter if you're not earning a dime and your parents are giving you 100% of stuff. Have a budget. Know where that money is coming in. Know where it's going out. You're not exempt. What did you think of Six the Musical? Really enjoyed it. Also, 90 minutes, no intermission. Loved that. Why can't we have more short things? Why is every movie 3 hours? Tell me why. Okay. New member? Hello, welcome, D. How mysterious. Okay, Chelsea, do you have any suggestions on how to be more frugal with grocery shopping during this crazy time of inflation? The biggest tip that I would give is the way you do a capsule wardrobe, right? Is you pick items that go with other items so that you can make a maximal amount of outfits out of the same clothing items. Similar with food. Look at the maximal amount of dishes that you can make from ingredients. You can make 10 different things with rice. You can make 10 different things with eggs. I mean, these are really versatile ingredients. So shopping in a very strategic way where you're not buying something that you're only using for one thing. Similarly, new member, hello. We love to see it, don't we? Similarly, making sure that you're focusing like on spices and oils rather than pre-made sauces, which are very expensive and often not very good and often full of preservatives and this, that, and the other. Like really making sure that you're creating a kitchen full of ingredients rather than a kitchen full of just basically already finished or unversatile items. Okay. Hello. Oh my gosh, there are so many. Hello. I'm going through these. Curse it out. People are encouraging me cursing. Thanks, everyone. Chelsea's introduction says she's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia fanny. I am. I do like that show, to be honest. I really do. It is very dark at times, but it is quite funny. Okay. Who's your dream guest for the financial confessions? Well, we're dying to get Chris Smalls, who just organized the Amazon labor union. I mean, obviously it was a group effort, but he led that organization. I would love to talk to him. He's obviously a busy bee right now. Everyone, wants to talk to him, but I would love to have him on soon because I do think the Amazon unionization is one of the most important things that has happened in the labor movement in recent history. So definitely want to do that. Just starting my retirement in 2 weeks. I have to live off investments the rest of my life. Well, congratulations, but also it's serious, right? Like these numbers all seem really big and unrealistic and scary until you're actually having to live off of them for extended periods of time. Also, welcome new member. Hello. Um, uh, do, do, do. Do you offer one-on-one in-depth financial advice? I don't, because I'm not a CFP. I'm not a coach. I'm not qualified to be giving people individualized advice based on their situation I'm just not. So no, but there are a lot of great financial advisors out there. You have to be very conscientious with how you find them and how you vet them, but there are many great ones out there. What are your thoughts on LinkedIn influencers? They need to do drugs or something, because the idea of being a LinkedIn influencer is just too bleak to consider. Welcome new member. Hello, hello. So exciting. Would you ever consider getting a collaborator outside of the US from different countries, continents, etc., to give financial insight? I would, but working across international lines, like legally speaking, is kind of complicated. Okay. Caroline est-ce que tu peux répondre à une question en français? Est-ce que tu as des conseils pour quelqu'un qui veut économiser pour l'achat d'une maison? Il faut dépenser moins, il faut avoir un budget, il faut être un peu sage et sérieux, mais surtout, il faut vraiment regarder la maison ou l'appart ou je sais pas quoi d'un point de vue de trade-off, genre, ouais, tu veux acheter ça, dans combien de temps? Qu'est-ce que je suis prête à sacrifier aujourd'hui pour avoir ça? Et c'est pour ça que c'est très important de visualiser la maison. J'ai mon inspiration book avant j'ai acheté, où tous les jours je regardais, je me projetais dans la maison et tout, et parce que c'est vraiment difficile de se motiver pour quelque chose qui est très abstrait et qui est peut-être loin, mais il faut le cristalliser, quoi. Okay, how high will gas prices climb? Couldn't tell you, buddy. I haven't driven a car in 10 years. Also, do you have any upcoming plans for videos geared toward other countries? Not right now, but probably soon. We do have some upcoming stuff planned for specifically geared toward the first generation Latin community. Okay. I will be graduating debt-free this spring. What's my next financial move be? Congratulations. That's freaking huge. That's amazing, Patricia. Investing. Danny said, oh, Danny, welcome to the society. We're glad to have you. It's incredibly exciting. Alexis says, sorry to be blunt, but does TFD plan to tackle personal finance topics for low-income folks more in the future? We do. We try to make everything we do as accessible as possible, but we would like to start another mini-series that's specifically just about super low-income finance. Okay, Mallory has just joined the society at TFD Light, Diet Society, as we call it. Very happy to have you. Okay. Canned tomatoes forever. I agree. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to. Okay. Loved the derm episode. How do you know how much a procedure costs? Is it okay to ask? Always ask. Hell yeah. You're a client. You're a paying customer. Ask about everything. I asked so many questions at my first consultation. I definitely, and shop around, compare prices, compare reviews. There's no reason that you have to just go with the first dermatologist you see, or any kind of doctor for that matter. Even just your straight GP, you can shop around. Okay. What's an okay price for a women's haircut in NYC? Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get flamed for saying this, but $80 to $100 for a good salon is without tip is what I see happening a lot. So Maggie says, welcome to the society at TFD Light. Hello, love to see it. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Should people with money give money to their friends who are struggling financially? I get into fights with my friends about me not being generous enough. Well, I mean, I don't know what's happening in the background of that question that you're getting into fights about not being generous. That begs a couple questions. But I would say giving money to people in your life who are struggling financially. My answer is that yes, if you can afford it, that is a good thing to do. But I also think that one must be incredibly delicate when giving money or offering money to people. That can be a very emotional thing, very, a lot of shame, a lot of baggage, a lot of feeling like, well, am I gonna be indebted to this person? Am I gonna, is it gonna be uncomfortable? So on and so forth. So I think really going out of your way to make sure this is no strings attached. One of the best lessons I ever learned was never loan a dollar you can't afford to not see back, because that is what will really cause some true wreckage in friendships. Okay, Carrie, welcome to the Society at TFD Light. So excited to have you. Welcome, everyone. As a reminder, in the Society, we get bonus videos every month. We do Q&As like this once a month. Tomorrow's Q&A, or this month's Q&A is tomorrow. We get exclusive downloadables, newsletters, like all kinds of amazing stuff. It is really, it's a really great society. It's cool. You should join it. I noticed you're politically charged in your videos. Do you think the right is actively contributing to the downfall of wages / personal finance, or is it both the left and right? I think it's best to frame it this way. Corporate interests are what are really to blame in a lot of this. And in that way, the political affiliation doesn't really matter. We have to take back control of these things from individual corporations who are motivated to maximize profit for shareholders, period, end of story. Like, we're never going to get, universal healthcare unless we loosen the chokehold of the pharmaceutical industry and the private medical industry. Like, we're never going to have living wages unless unions regain power against these horrible conglomerates. Like, it's not even really a political affiliation thing so much as it's a power thing. So yeah, the LinkedIn comment question. Net Shack is saying, these days I see so many financial benefits as subsidized by those not willing to participate. For example, gym memberships are cheap due to people who pay and don't visit. We get credit card rewards as subsidies paid by people who don't use credit cards. Do you think this is a valuable heuristic, or is it a step toward a grind poor people's bones to make my bread mentality? Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, the gym one, not as much, because I think that's more a question of, the gym model is basically they're just, like you said, they make their money on people who don't go, but it's also just preying on people feeling like throwing money at a problem is a substitute for solving it. But I do think that I think that it's not necessarily bad, hello new member, I think it's not bad necessarily to have a component to things that if you use them more proactively and more thoughtfully, that you're going to maximize benefit. I think that's okay. I think where we get into trouble is when we have these subsidies that are purely based on class and financial access versus just level of use and participation, like with a gym membership. We got the little French squad coming in. Hello. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Okay. I'm coming back through the comments I missed. Can you have more consistent audio quality on your videos? No, we're doing it on purpose. Of course, we're always trying. We're doing the best we can. Miss Blue, when is the last time you had long hair past your shoulders? You always rock the bob. It fits you well, but I wonder why we never see you have long hair. Well, thank you. But also, I had hair past my shoulders in several recent videos. It was long. I generally it's somewhere between here and here. Long hair is too much maintenance. I have very thick hair. I wash it once a week. It's it's a whole thing if it's long, but thank you, everyone. How do you become a TFD contributor? Well, you can email Soraya at thefinancialdiet.com. She runs, it's SORAYA at thefinancialdiet.com. She runs our newsletter and is the one who commissions most of our contributors. If you want to potentially write a script for TFD, you can email Holly at thefinancialdiet.com. Holly, Holly. Oh, and if you want to do an event at The Financial Diet, it's Saida, Saidah at thefinancialdiet.com. Okay, and this will be reposted. Okay, well, I did the French, which is obviously very comfortable for me. I'm like, I'm going to answer the Spanish question, but know that I'm in a vulnerable space, you guys. Randy está diciendo, ¿cuándo comienza el contenido en español? Súper pronto. Okay. When does it make sense to pay for a financial advice on a per engagement versus AUM? AUM, let me make sure I know. Meaning, I never want to. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. You mean like on commission versus fee? Okay. That's a really good question. I think it probably depends on the overall size of the assets that you're managing, how long you look to be working with someone, if you have a few kind of limited questions, or are going through like a very particular financial situation, like maybe you're an executor of an estate, or like you've come into a windfall, or you're making a big life move. I think that's when you can feel more empowered to do per engagement basis. Okay. Just graduated med school. Congrats, Ebony. Ever thought about doing an episode on the finances of med school or grad school? No, I think we've done one on grad school, but never med school. But that's a really good idea. Okay. Let her live. The audio is fine. Someone is saying what lipstick to use. I've been wondering for forever. I basically wear the same makeup every single day of my life. I will be buried like Betty Draper with my makeup. It is NARS. It's actually a lip liner that I just use, and the color is, oh no, I'm like Rosebud. Citizen Kane in this bit. Okay. All right. Just ask for a raise at work today. Love your work. Woo! You know what they say. What is it? And closed mouths don't get fed. Gotta ask for that raise. Alvaro's complimenting my Spanish. Thank you. I'm trying. Okay. No questions as I dig myself out of debt. I know it needs to be done at this point, but I just want to say thank you to TFD for all the advice. Yes, and good on you for being on that debt journey. You've already passed the hardest part, which is just knowing the plan and starting the plan. Okay. Would Mark ever be a podcast guest? I think he's guested on industry-specific podcasts. Yeah, you're Googling my husband? What? Okay, girl or guy. No, I don't think he would come on TFC. I like keeping my husband separate from TFD, the TFD Industrial Complex. But yeah, if you're enough of a creeper, you can find him on really tedious podcasts talking about digital security. It's important what he does, but it's, not my cup of tea. How did you approach the conversation with your husband earlier in your relationship about asking for financial help when you were getting TFD started? Was that an uncomfortable topic? No, but I feel like I had to present what was a really, really good plan and a really good idea, and had enough evidence already accumulated that this would be a good investment. And he also got equity in exchange for supporting me financially initially, and taking a sabbatical from work to help us build out the ad infrastructure and do tech stuff on it. So, I treated him with, seriousness as a partner in a business capacity. And I think that really helps. You have to make sure that you're treating them like you want to be securing their investment, the way you would anyone else, even more so. Would love to see a TFD video about how renters can stand up for ourselves. My landlord is a scammer, and luckily we know our rights, but it can be so stressful. That's actually a really good idea. I'm going to add that to the list, actually, because this is such a rough time for renters. And I rented up until last year, and we dealt with some bullshit, let me tell you. So I am passionate about it myself, and I would also like to help other people. Okay. Who said, okay, someone's saying, oh my God, Nick Lewis watches TFD. Who's Nick Lewis? Wait, is this someone I should know? I'm Googling. Oh my gosh. Wait, a decorating channel? Wait, hello. Love this. Okay. Wow. Noted. Well, hello. I love a decor channel. Okay. Someone says, I found both you and Hassan Piker this year. Oh, that disappeared. No. Oh no, where'd it go? Okay, I found you and both Hassan Piker this year. I feel like you both have some similar views. Have you ever considered him for a financial confessions interview? Sure, why not? I mean, Hassan is like the most famous man on the internet at this point, so he might be too big for my britches, but come on down. There's very few people I wouldn't interview if they would make for an interesting conversation. I'm loving all these episodes. I can't wait to go back through all these comments. Oh my gosh, people are loving Nick Lewis. Well, now wow, I need to reach out. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I keep getting like scrolled down. What are you currently reading? 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake, because I finished Bridgerton and I was like experiencing physical. Ooh. Oh no. Oh, am I back? Okay, sorry, that cut out for a second. Okay, so I have a time for 2 more questions. Nick Lewis is down for a collab anytime. Well, damn, same. Okay. Okay, so I have time for 2 more quick questions. So let me just go through real quick. You interviewed Dave Ramsey, sure, but my first question would be like, what about all that and treatment of women? What's up with that, buddy? So I highly doubt he'd stick around. Can you do a video about how the suburbs are a scam and milking cities dry? Yeah, honestly, because true. Okay. Oh my gosh, everyone loves Nick Lewis in this chat. I'm loving this. Okay. All right. Noor is saying, how should I communicate to my girlfriend that modern relationship needs equal financial contribution from each of us? It doesn't, Noor. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be totally equal. People can contribute differently, and also we need to stop undervaluing domestic labor. Someone can contribute less in dollars and still be a huge contributor to a household. Okay, I will do another one of these. This has been amazing. This has been so nice. Please, everyone, check out my class. It's starting next Tuesday. It's going to be amazing. It's a 4-week class all about building a sustainable business through YouTube. I think it's really cool. It's really informative. It's really helpful. If you've been thinking about, really getting serious about YouTube, it is a perfect place. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. There is heavily discounted tickets at the link in the description. Sign up for our memberships. We do this every month. This is amazing. I really love you guys. This has been so fun. You've made my day/evening. And yeah, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye. Bye, guys. Have a good night.